The broadcast doesn't work
Yeah, the broadcast
properly.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there.
So unfortunately, I don't know why.
See that? And I have a nice sexy top on today. You were saying something about a V-neck? What were you talking about earlier?
This is not a sexy top. I'm sorry.
This is not a sexy top?
No, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. You promised to come with your overall one day with nothing underneath. You haven't done that yet.
I promised to do that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm almost certain I was awake when you said that. But
I'm thinking maybe you were sleeping
sure
when I
that
said
you
that.
said that. So just so you all know what we're talking about. First of all, this is financial show. We talk about real estate. We talk about stocks. We talk about anything related to money. And this comment was based on Debbie's trick to be taken seriously by a contractor. And she have a contractor overall. So every time she go to the job site and she was looking for a quote, she's wearing her contractor overall.
What drugs are you on?
It's not.
It's so
you
not
are
true.
using your contractor overall to go to the site and to say, I know what's going on here.
That's so not true. I wear my contractor overalls because I look cute in my overalls.
But you just refer to them as a contractor overall.
Only because you're referring to them as contractor overalls. They're just regular overalls. There's nothing in them that says contractor overalls. They're just really cute. I think I look good in the overalls. That's all. I do. I look cute in overalls.
I agree.
You know, I see that.
I agree.
Larry likes me in the overalls. You like me in the. My husband likes me in the overalls. So my husband would prefer it if I wore nothing else but the overalls. You know, but that's between me and my husband, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to.
Yeah.
So it wasn't between you and me, Omri, or anybody else.
Let's not go back to the thing that the cleaning lady is finding in the house when she comes. I'm not sure we can talk about those things on the air.
We probably could, but we probably shouldn't.
We shouldn't. Exactly.
Yeah, it's a different type of show, and I'm not sure that's the right place for that.
Yes, so if you want to be part of this madness, as I said, call us 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137. We'll be very, very happy to hear from you. If you have any question regarding money, real estate, stocks, whatever you need, we are here for you. And as you see, we are adamant to have fun while doing all that. So call and have fun with us.
So I just put up some information for you folks for a caller. It's there in your live feed.
Okay.
Oh, so Glenn, you don't have the right thing up. I told you don't have the right thing up. That's my Facebook you have up. You got to put Larry's Facebook up.
No.
Or Glenn's Facebook up.
This is not Facebook. This is Messenger, and I have Glenn too.
Okay, well you have to put it so you can see it.
That's fine.
Well, you know where you saw Glenn's name a moment ago?
Yeah.
I just put a caller info there.
Okay, so
if you jump on your messenger there, Omri, I can message you calls directly.
You got to put it on that screen so I can see it too. I can't see it. All I see is mine.
A moment ago?
Yeah.
I just put a caller info there.
Okay, so
if you jump on your messenger there, Omri, I can message you calls directly.
You got to put it on that screen so I can see it too. I can't see it. All I see is mine. You see the glitches
everything
today.
is live. All the problems, everything is live. That's what we do. That's who we are.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about what you're dealing with?
Goodness!
Let's start with real estate.
Everything
is live. All the problems, everything is live. That's what we do. That's who we are.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about what you're dealing with?
Goodness!
Let's start with real estate.
Okay.
This is the more.
This is part
common.
two. Part two. So the first hour, we were goofing off about all this Omri being right. Anyway, hour two, live on the air, I found out that the idiot contractor I hired to demo my place to start over. I bought this property in Wilmington, Delaware. I bought it to fix it up nicely, like really like top of the line nice, like granite countertops, everything brand new, like really I was going to make it beautiful. And then I was going to rent it out for 6 months to a year. And the goal was to sell it to a turnkey investor, put some money in my pocket, and then still have a note, pay my private lender back, and then have a note for the remaining so that I get monthly cash flow.
We'll get to your story, but let's talk about the idea that stands behind what you just described. Basically, you're buying a home for a flip or for a renovation, but you're not doing a flip.
I'm not doing a flip.
So explain the steps of what you just described, because I think it's very interesting. People don't know this is possible.
So this is a different model than what we talk about here at the school oftentimes. It's a completely different model. And it's actually a guy who is friends of the school. He's a really nice guy. He's actually been on the radio a couple times here with us, where he does note origination. So let me just explain that. That means like if you have a mortgage and you have a promissory note, you owe the bank X amount of money. So when he does it, he starts the note where you owe him money, where he becomes the bank. Okay, so he no longer owns the property, but he is the bank, and you pay him every month for the property. You know, you buy the property and you live in it, you know, or do whatever you want with it, and then you pay him every month for.
Now he buys the property out of pocket.
Okay, so let me hold on. Let me do it. So what he does is he buys a property.
Yeah.
Okay, and what he does is he fixes it up to the hilt, not like rent grade status, like quality status, like the house you want to live in, not rent grade. And when I say rent grade, you put in like, you know, not as expensive things, and you cheapen it a little bit. You know, you might get Formica countertops, or you might get like you might reuse cabinets, or you might reuse some lighting, or, you know, it's rent grade, you know. And that's not that it's bad, it's just different, you know. And for rent grade, I understand why people do that, it's fine. But when you're talking about this method that I'm talking about, you fix it up beautiful, top of the line, everything, right? Brand new fixtures, brand new walls if you need them, brand new paint, brand new floors, brand new kitchen, you know, granite countertops or quartz countertops or whatever, but brand new bathroom, everything. If the roof is more than 10 years old, you replace it. If the heater is more than 10 years old, you replace it. If the water heater is more than 5 years old, you replace it. You get all new appliances. So everything is practically just about brand new. Now, once the place is brand new, you put a renter in there, okay? And you season it, meaning you have somebody in there for X amount of months. So it's usually 6 to 12 months to make sure that the renter's a good renter, okay? And then once you season it, you have a good renter in there for 6 to 12 months. Then that property that you bought, you sell it just as it is with the renter in there to a turnkey investor, meaning somebody who just wants a property that's already cash flowing. You just hand over the deed and that's it, you're done. So that's his model. So when you do that, you know, you have to figure out how you want to do the arrangements. But what he suggests is that you get 30% down. So let's say you have a house that's $100,000. You get 30% down right off the front, so that's $30,000, and then you hold a note for the remaining $70,000. You know, and that turnkey investor pays you X amount per month usually he does it for 10 years. So for 10 years, you're getting positive cash flow every month. Okay, so that's the model that I'm doing with this property. So this is kind of I want to say my trial run, but it's actually my second trial run because I did buy that property out in Illinois.
Last year.
Yeah, and it was last year, and it was I didn't fix it up. I ended up selling it a little bit quickly, but it was the same kind of idea. Anyway, so with this one, I'm doing the whole rehab on it because the place was from the 60s, or from the 70s or 80s. It was very old, had paneling all over the walls. It was just very, you know, had plaster on some of the walls, and, you know, it had old radiator heat. It had the plugs that were in the baseboard, you know, like the 2 prongs, not the 3 prongs. So whatever, the whole place needed to be updated. Anyway, so I bought this place a month ago, maybe 6 weeks ago, something like that. I don't even know. Hold on, we'll get there in a second. And then, so what happened was that I bought this place, and I needed it to get. And there is also from the 70s, and it's all knob and tube wiring, which is no longer to code, and it can actually start fires. So we wanted to take the place down to the studs, take all the walls off, take everything down to the studs, so we could rewire it and then do anything else that we needed to do it. Now, when Omri and I went, 2 weeks ago, did we go?
3 weeks ago,
so
2 weeks ago,
I think,
something like that.
So we went through and figured out all the things that we kind of wanted to do, and we saw that in the basement, it was oil heat. It was oil heat, and it was radiator heat, right? So, but the oil tank was there. I think it was almost empty.
So the fuel basically is oil. The method of heat is hot water, circulate hot water.
Circulate hot water.
Yes.
So, but the furnace that was there is very old, and, you know, it just wasn't in good shape. And if I'm trying to do this model and this thing was so disgusting and rotted out, I would replace it so there wouldn't be an issue for whoever buys this property. And the reason that we were thinking about switching to gas is because there was literally a gas line 6 inches away. So the goal was to replace this heater with a gas heater and then keep all the radiators in place for the circulate hot water. Now, we had the guy go, I hired somebody to go and do the demo, take everything down to the studs.
So
Go ahead.
Okay, you know what? Continue. I will get to that.
Okay, so we did have somebody do that. Now, day 2 and day 3 were fine. He got everything off the first floor. He did demo the top floor, but on the radio show last Saturday live, we found out that he took out all the radiators, he broke them all in the process, probably for scrap metal, but that's a whole other story. And he also removed all the plumbing. So all the plumbing throughout the whole house, he cut out all the plumbing, and he broke all the radiators, which is not what I asked him to do.
He cut also the sewer or also the water feed? Do you know? I'm curious.
I have a video from Blake, or Blake is supposed to send me a video, but he said all the plumbing in the whole house is gone all the way from the basement. Everything's gone. So that's a problem because I planned on reusing all those radiators and the existing plumbing because they were fine, and then put in a gas furnace, but now I can't do that. So it now costs me a lot more money because now I need to put in ductwork, and I had to replace the heater anyway, but now I have to add it and put in a gas furnace, but now I can't do that. So it now costs me a lot more money because now I need to put in ductwork, and I had to replace the heater anyway, but now I have to add it, so it's going to cost me, more money. So
basically he made a decision for you.
He made a decision for me he didn't even talk to me about it.
Yeah,
he didn't even ask me about it. And when him and I had a discussion, he asked me if he wanted me to take out the oil heater, and I said, take out the oil heater and take out the tank. And I said, yes, that's fine. I'll pay you the extra to do that. But nowhere in that conversation did I say anything about removing the radiators. And he did that all on his own. And then when I confronted him on the phone about it, he said, oh, that was my misunderstanding. I'm like, yeah, that's a heck of a misunderstanding.
I tell you why.
What?
When you say there's a variety of way to look at it. Demo normally, when you buy a house and you bring a demolition crew, they rip up everything. They don't take off the studs, of course. They don't touch the wood because this is structural, but they take off everything. They take all the electric, they take all the water, they take all the sewer, they take everything off.
I know, but I was very specific.
No, I know, but this is a complete demo. So when we hire a demo or when we work with a general contractor, we have to make sure that they know that this is not a complete demo.
Right, but him and I had a
sewer, they take everything off.
I know, but I was very specific.
Or when we work with a general contractor, we have to make sure that they know. And now I'm surprised to hear that all the plumbing is gone.
All the plumbing is gone.
So there was a very big misunderstanding or miscommunication here. I just want, if we can put it on pause, because we do have a caller, and now I'm surprised to hear that all the plumbing is gone.
All the plumbing is gone.
So there was a very big misunderstanding or miscommunication here. I just want, if we can put it on pause, because we do have a caller. We have John in Philly, and he has a question about a loan. Hey, John,
hello?
do you hear us?
Yes. Listen, I have a question for you, if you can help me.
Sure.
Last week, I caught the end of the conversation you had. Somebody called in. What basically it is, you give somebody a lump sum of money, and they're paying you back monthly. So
Yes.
instead of them getting the monthly payment, what is that transaction called?
It's a private loan. It's a private. So when you give somebody a lump sum of money, it's usually backed by real estate. So we do that here at the school all the time, and you become a private lender. So let's just say that you gave me $100,000, and I gave you 8% interest on that. So that would come out to, I think, $888, something like that. And I would pay you for 5 years or whatever the agreement is. And at the end of the 5 years, I pay you back whatever I owe you plus your original $100,000. You get so it depends on whether it's principal and interest or just interest. But at the end of 5 years, you make 8% interest a year. And at the end of 5 years, you get everything that we owe you, which is usually still close to the $100,000. It might be like $86,000 or $85,000 at the end of 5 years.
Now, this is amortized exactly like a loan that the bank will give you.
So where would you go do the process?
5 years, you get everything that we owe you, which is usually still close to the $100,000. It might be like
Stock market.
Come to
If
the
I would
school.
give somebody the lump sum,
Everything you are
and then be
saying,
paying me back.
everything you are saying, just clarify that the only place for you is to come to the school.
Yeah, you have to come to the school.
Go right now to investorschooling.com.
And come to school on Thursday.
Yeah,
Come
that's
to school on Thursday.
investorschooling.com. Meet the people that borrow, meet the people that lend, meet the people that invest in stocks in a way that they can basically can't lose money. and here are the options.
I don't. Okay, so I want to say that there's it's a very low risk. We don't want to say that there's no risk because that's not
basically.
true. Yeah. So I mean, I don't want to give the
who
impression.
guarantees that the guy is going to pay me?
What's that?
I have a deed in my hand, or
You
how
don't
does
have
that
a
work?
deed, but you have a lien. So let's play the scenario out. So let's just say I need $100,000 and you have $100,000 to lend.
Right.
Okay. So I'm going to go to you and what's your name, hon? What's your name? John. Okay. So John, I'm going to say to you, look, I hear you have $100,000 and you're interested in lending. I can give you 8% interest for 5 years.
Okay.
Okay. And then, okay. So interest for 5 years.
Okay.
Okay, and then I
got
will
that.
pay you monthly, and it's like I think it's around $800.
Okay.
It's almost $900 with principal and interest. And at the end of 5 years, I will pay you back whatever I owe you. You know, because you'll get payments every month for the next 60 months, which is 5 years, for $888 at the end, and we give you
Balloon.
it's,
A balloon.
a
You have
balloon payment
at
at the end of
Yeah.
5 years, and then at the end of 5 years, you have the option to extend it, or we just pay you off. It doesn't matter. But what do you get in return? You get a lien on the property. Okay, so if I buy the property,
Lien on the property. So if the guy doesn't pay, I own part of the property, or
you own all of it.
Exactly. Yes.
You get a lien on the property, but not in the
lien on
paperwork.
the property.
Yeah, lien on the property. But in the paperwork, the way that we protect our lenders, in the paperwork, there is something in there called a confession of judgment. And in the confession of judgment, it means that if I miss 3 payments to you, you automatically get the property. And that if I fight you to go into court, I pay all your court costs, all my court costs, and I lose, guaranteed. So that's how you're protected. So you are backed by the property.
So if the guy doesn't pay, where do I go? I go to the real estate office with the
No.
deed in my hand?
No.
John, I
With
tell
the
you,
lien?
John, I tell you where you go. You go to investor schooling on Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you will hear all that. And I remember you, and we talked many times before. Not many times, but few times you called before. Come, what
Yes.
do you have to lose? An evening, 2
Right.
hours? That's the and the minute you do the first step, and I promise you,
All right, let me fire you up before I go. You ready?
yes,
get your finger on the button. Listen.
Okay, don't
Just
curse.
drop the damn.
that's the thing.
Okay.
And we'll be very and we'll be very happy to have you.
Yeah, no cursing. I'm sorry. You could say what you want to say, but no cursing.
Yes.
Okay, fine.
Thank you. It's funny that we have callers that call almost every week.
Yeah, but
and
we
we,
just-
we recognize them.
Yeah, we just as soon as he started
needs to
that,
come-
I realized who he was.
I really want to see the face. Sometimes people come to class and they said, I'm this and this from the show, and the face go with the voice.
Yeah,
and it's so great.
yeah.
I don't think he's going to come. I don't think that guy's going to come. I'm just not getting a vibe that he's going to come. He's just going to keep calling you and trying to pick your brains on the air.
Glenn.
Yeah, but and that's the
Larry-
only place where you can pick our brains and not
Yeah.
without much of an issue. So.
Yeah.
Glenn.
Yeah, but and that's the
Larry-
only place where you can pick our brains and not
Yeah.
without much of an issue. So
And we are not. Larry is out today. We are nice to everybody.
yeah, there you
We're
go.
nice to everybody. Whoever wants to come can come, and we'd be very happy to have you, John. Please come.
All right, so then back to my story.
Yes, please.
Back to my story. So where
I'm not getting a vibe that he's going to come. He's
Basically
everywhere.
took off everything
And left
they,
it.
but they didn't took it
and
away.
they didn't take anything away. So
Yes.
now I have to hire somebody new to clean out the top floor, and get a garbage the big garbage dumps.
The dumpster.
The dumpster. I always forget the word dumpster.
So
So now I'm in the process of hiring somebody new to clean up the top and get it out. And then I have an electrician who's ready to go in and rewire the place, but now I need to get at the plumbing to give me an estimate. Larry's sue happy, so he suggests that I sue this demolition guy because he cost me $5,000 and possibly more.
yeah, now it sounds like more.
Now it sounds like more. So
Yes.
if it really is more, then I really will sue him, and I'll put some kind of lien against his business or something. Then I'll go to. I'm not a sue happy person.
No, me
and
too.
I'm not really. Then I'm going to go after him, and I won't quit.
Lawsuit.
Anyway.
You need to be a lawsuit person.
Yeah.
And if not, you need to be able to pay and let it go. And don't think about that. Wait for a call from the lawyer when it's all done. That's the only way to go if you're not a lawsuit person.
Well,
if it's a game to you, if you enjoy that, that's something else. But
No.
if not, let it go. Because normally in price and in mental, in your mental price will be higher than that. So that's why I think it's
Yeah,
not
but I
worth
mean,
it.
if he cost me 10,000 and not 5,000, that's a big difference. You
I
know what
agree.
I mean? You know, so that's something a little bit different. So we had the other guy who went up, and he's like, "Oh my God, it's like sounds like the steps have either been ruined or are not accessible anymore." So that's a problem also.
The steps to the basement.
The
or
steps to go
the
up
second floor?
to the second floor.
Okay.
So that's a problem. So I haven't been there since we've been there because there's a lockbox on the door, and it's just like at this point it's just like go do the work. So when I was chatting with Blake a little bit this morning, he's like, "It's a bomb. It's this right now. I already know it's a mess," and he just kind of kept repeating it, and it's just like, "I heard you. Let's move past that. I already know it's a mess. I need to get this cleaned up."
So I tell you what I learned. I'm doing it for, I don't know, 9-10 years now. My conclusion is to finish, and it's regardless with who I work, how.
It's not your conclusion. It's your goal. Word conclusion means.
Welcome to the English lesson.
Word conclusion means.
Welcome to the English lesson by.
I'm just saying you're using the wrong word. It's just like beating around the bush. You're taking it completely out of context.
Are we back there?
No, I'm just saying that you have to admit that your knowledge of the English word is not always
I agree,
correct.
but a conclusion is based on.
It's not what you want to happen at the end. It's what happens at the end. It's like the conclusion already is the final result.
Okay,
I conclude,
got you.
So that's what I'm saying. The final result hasn't happened yet.
So my not conclusion is that when you work with somebody and it doesn't matter how bad they are and what's going on, you can fire them in the middle, that's fine. But if they work, let them finish and deal with it at the end. Because wait.
You do this to me all the time.
Calm down.
I talked to him and I said, "Go ahead, more money for the oil tank."
I would pay. And then I will sue. But right now, I'm in the middle. The problem while you're in the middle is to find someone that will continue where somebody else left. And that's the problem. And normally when those things happen, sometimes it costs us more. Because you think about your situation right now. How much you should have paid or how much you've been asked to pay for him to finish his bad.
And I'll tell you. So remember we had that other guy give us an estimate for the basement?
Yes.
And he wanted $8,500 for the basement?
Correct. Only for the basement, but I think it's not for the demo. I think it's for.
It was just the basement, to fix the basement.
To purge the basement walls.
Right. And then for those of you who don't know, so there is exposed stone in the basement.
Mm-hmm.
So it needs to be what's the word?
So according to the code right now, you can't have just stones in the basement. Bricks are acceptable, not stones. So what you do, you have to, they call it purge, they also improve, it also improves that.
So there was places in the wall in the basement that needed to be
restock or remortared.
Remortared.
Yes.
Okay. So we did get an estimate from a guy, and he was going to charge us $8,500 for that, which seems kind
ridiculous.
Yeah, it was ridiculously high.
Yes, his work is
very good.
Very good.
Yeah, it's very good.
I'm not sure that that's where you want to go unless you say, I want to finish this basement, and you are not there.
I am not. At least not right now. There's no reason to finish the basement. So he wanted $8,500 just to finish the basement, and he wanted another $4 or $5 to do the demo. Remember? Mm-hmm. So it was a lot of money. Now with this idiot that I hired, I have paid him $3,000 already. Mm-hmm. Okay, and he wanted 2 more. So we agreed on a price of 4, and then he wanted another $1,000 for the oil tank and the removal of the 2. But he took out the radiators and the plumbing, which is not what I agreed to. So, now I hired somebody new, and this new person for $4,500 is going to purge that basement and remove the rest of the debris.
That's not bad.
So honestly,
the problem is.
Yeah, but hold on.
Yes.
So hold on. So in total, I'm going to end up paying $7,500, where the other guy was over 10 for the same amount of work.
Yeah, but we're talking about 3 people right now.
No, we're talking about
3 people that you just mentioned.
No.
We talk about one that is doing the demo that you fired because of a bad work that he did,
Right.
And then 2 other estimates that you had. One that you rejected from the beginning for purging the basement walls.
Right.
Because it was so expensive. The other one had a good price from the beginning. The only reason who hold us back is the fact that he couldn't deal with the demo on his own. He wanted a dumpster, and he wanted us to be involved, and we didn't want to be involved.
Right.
So that's the reason. There are 3 people here. So we'll go back to that. Let's go to a quick commercial break, and then we can go back and continue the story and see how we can fix this situation.
Hey, this is Larry Steinhouse with Investor Schooling.
Hey, you are clear.
Times
Thank
listen
you.
to my voice before you finally go to investorschooling.com.
because
I
you
can't
don't
believe
speak
you
to the
haven't signed up for
microphone.
a class yet. You're going to learn real estate investing. You're going to learn stock options trading. You're going to learn things about money that you didn't even know
Omri,
existed.
let me ask you-
See
Omri,
there.
Omri, talk closer to Mike. Okay, I got
Hey,
you.
this is Larry Steinhouse with Investor Schooling. Listen, I know sometimes you worry about coming to see me because you don't want to invest in real estate,
Dr.
because you don't want to
Dexter.
deal with toilets, trash, or tenants.
Thank you, Glenn.
Thank you,
Ways that
Glenn.
you don't have to deal with
Purr.
toilets, trash, or tenants,
what?
Parge.
or even
No,
own
Glenn.
any real
Not
estate
you,
and
Glenn. The other
No,
Glenn.
Oh,
yeah.
That's investorschooling.com. I promise you,
Gotcha.
no toilets,
Do
no
me a
trash,
favor,
no
Glenn.
tenants.
Please call us. We will have fun. Give us
Hey,
a
this is
call.
Larry Steinhouse with Investor Schooling. Did you know that we have a radio show right here on WPHT every Saturday at 1 o'clock? It's called The Larry Steinhouse Show. And you want to listen to this show because it's a live show and you can call in. In fact, here's the
By
call-in
the way, I
number.
want to apologize. If you saw the caller message a couple of times, it was because
And when you
because the
call
live
in, you
feed
can
was,
ask us
like, cutting in
questions
and out. I
about
wanted to
real
make sure-
estate,
I
the
wasn't
stock
sure if you guys
market,
saw it.
even
I wasn't trying to
politics. Make sure you tune in Saturday,
press
1
you to get
o'clock.
them
This
on.
is Larry Steinhouse
And I
about
wanted to
real
make sure-
estate,
I
the
wasn't sure
stock
if you guys
market. With Investor Schooling. This is Larry Steinhouse with
What-
Investor Schooling.
It's
Did you know
storage
that
stuff?
there
Is
are
that what
so
you're
many
talking
different ways to prepare for retirement, and annuities are not the answer? Come learn this Thursday by taking a free class on Investor Schooling.
Free!
Come to Investor Schooling, and you will learn so many different ways
How
that you
much
can
it
make
cost?
more money in retirement than you
Free!
actually expected to. Go to investorschooling.com and sign up for a complimentary class this Thursday. That's investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com. We'll see you there. This is Larry Steinhouse. If you've listened
I'll
to our
send it to
show or
Larry's
if you've read
message.
my book, Money Hacks, I talk about how to buy real estate with absolutely no money out of your pocket. You should come this Thursday night to a complimentary class at Investor Schooling and learn more. Learn how to buy properties with no money. Learn how to make money at closings and learn how to make a monthly income. Go to investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com. Take your complimentary class this Thursday.
This program is paid for by Investor Schooling.
We're back.
Schooling.com. That's investorschooling.com. Take your complimentary class this Thursday.
This program is paid for by Investor Schooling.
We're back.
Welcome back to the Larry Steinhouse Show without the Larry Steinhouse. I'm Omri Morad, and we have here Debbie Anderson. Doctor, I'm sorry, I haven't brought my prescription. Continue her story about how her recent real estate purchase made her miserable.
It's not that it made me
A
miserable.
bit.
No,
I'm
it's
joking.
just
Come
it's
on.
a little frustrating
Yes.
because so the guy is supposed to start estimate of $4,500 to parge the basement. Thank you very much, Glenn. Parge the basement, and to finish to to clean up the demo that's on the second floor. And then after that, I have an electrician coming out, and he already gave me the estimate, so we'll go through what he needs to do. And then did we ever order the kitchen? Did you ever talk to the guy about ordering the kitchen?
No, we're not there yet.
Okay,
we have time. We have a lot of time.
Yeah, so then we're gonna put in LVP in the floor. We're gonna put sheetrock on the walls.
And now you're going to do a central AC.
And now I have to do central AC.
You don't have to do a central AC.
Yes, I have to get I have to get an HVAC out.
You have to do ducts.
I have to get an HVAC.
Yes.
To get all that taken care of. So we'll get the electric and the plumbing since the walls aren't up, and then the HVAC will get all the ductwork and stuff.
This will turn out to be your prettiest property so far.
if that's the case, it'll make it into a nice turnkey rental, and maybe I can get more money for it.
Correct.
So my goal was to get around 200 for it. So, and I bought it it was like 90, but after closing costs, it was around 100.
So if you remember, last week we talked before all this fiasco happened. Okay.
Yeah.
In the market to see how many rentals have,
And most
we
of them,
found
70% of them had an AC.
exactly. Anyway, you wanted to put an AC, high pay anyway. So that's not such a big problem. We've done it anyway. That we all use. I use him for years. I found him on problems with him. Now, wait 1 second. He in my house in Norristown, nicely enough, came to fix to the ground that I can't even.
Okay.
I saw it today, and I was just amazed. And he said he will come on Monday and fix it, and that's okay. But the problem is sometimes it sound bad. It's not. We paid what we get for.
I know, but I
understand.
So, and we said to the guy, we're like, look, just own up that you made the mistake, just finish the job, and we'll call it even. And
it's.
I know. I think
come and say I did a mistake.
He admitted to the mistake.
That's fine. But
he admitted to it.
For him to take responsibility for the mistake, he basically have to take few grands out of his pocket.
Right, but in the long run, he would make many grants of money. You know what I mean? So because we're all still doing real estate, we have a whole school that we could always recommend him to. So this guy
I recommended him to so many people.
And don't anymore.
Yeah.
So that's the problem. So, look, you own up and you make a mistake, and you fix your mistake, and
it's a story
and then
with him. Yeah, every time it's a story with him.
I know,
he always fix his mistakes. He always come back. He said, "I will do that. I will be okay." And he come back and he take if he leave
but
trash
his
behind,
pride.
he do that. But here there is another problem.
Yeah, here his pride is getting in the way.
Yes.
And his pride is now costing him lots and lots and lots of business. You know what I mean? Instead of just losing 2,000, he probably just lost 50,000 or more. So you know what? It's just silly, because I would, if he owned up to this, I would have no problem using him again. Larry would have no problem using him again. You would have no problem using him again, and we would still recommend him to the students at the school. Now that's over. It's all done. It's like now, because you want to have your pride and have your big whatever that you want to hold on to, your whatever. It's just like, okay, you just lost yourself so much business.
Every time I start a new renovation, and it doesn't matter if it's a new big project or for
big whatever that you want to hold on to, your whatever. It's just like, okay, you just lost yourself so much business.
Every time out for another to see how much it tenant, how much it will. I'm sorry, to do it with a contract. We'll bring a contractor. I will give them the key, and every time I do that, because the price scare me, of course, and I act as general contractor. I have a W-2 employee, and I'm very proud of. And I'll tell you one thing. With the work, I don't like to do like you at the end of the day, and it's very hard to get that with when you run it, when you hire people for cheaper amounts, and that's what's going on. So I always tell to myself, it's on you. You did that because you chose the cheap option, and that's why you got the cheaper job, or it takes you more time.
I didn't choose a cheap option. I used the guy that you recommended, and I trust your judgment. So I'm like, okay, he says he can do it, so I did it. So I don't know his work, and I don't know the other guy's work, but you use them all the time, so I recommend.
I do.
So Omri, I trust your judgment. So it's not that I took the cheaper option. I used the guy that you recommended that you've used many times in the past.
I do.
Okay, so I just want to make sure that's really clear. Look at that look. I'm just saying it. You make it sound like I'm some cheap, like, little bitch. And
No,
I'm like, that's
I
not,
don't.
That's
And
not what
don't
I'm
say
saying.
this word on the air.
I'm just saying that that's not the case. The case is that yes, I'm cautious of price. My whole
Debbie, I
my
am
whole
exactly-
budget was $50,000 to do the renovation, and now,
Debbie,
I
I'm
think
exactly
I'm probably
like you. Okay, calm down. I'm exactly like you. You get upset. That's fine. I'm exactly like you. Okay, and exactly like every other person. We always want to get the best for the least, and that's fine. But when you do that, the only thing I want to say, and that's the bottom line here, if you are doing that, you need to be more active. You need to be more involved in what you are doing.
I just want to
and
say,
when you are more involved,
I want
you
to
can
say,
mitigate those problems.
Okay, so
and it's easier.
I
now,
want-
when a wait,
no,
when
you
a
do
property,
this to me all the time.
When a property is far away, it's harder. I get it that it's harder, but we have to do that.
Okay, so I chose the not cheaper option for Monroe with that person that we all know.
Yes.
And he was definitely a more expensive option.
Mm-hmm.
And I have had issues of him not doing things correctly.
Do you have any
after
doubt?
the fact.
Do you have any doubt that he was the right person to do it? Do you have any doubt right now, after everything you've been through in the last year and a half in this property? Do you have
Not cheaper option for Monroe?
in this township with those people?
I don't know. There's one. No, I don't mean it in a nasty way. Like, there's one person that I've been working with in that area who's one. No, I don't mean it in a nasty way. Like, there's one person that I've been working with in that area who has